part, how to do it like a local. We attempted a segment of this in the previous video. I hope you've had time to look at it. And now I want to give you the second part. So now you've met someone and you've gone through a raft of questions and you're getting to know each other and you're having fun. So now they want to know more about you. And they're asking you about family. So a common standard question would be, familia yako iko wapi? Familia, from the word family. Familia sounds a bit Italian, sounds a bit Spanish. I don't know, but it evokes the images of the telenovelas we watch around here. Familia yako iko wapi? Which simply means, where is your family? Familia yako iko wapi? Standard question. And then you could say, if your family is here with you, you could say, familia yangu iko hapa. Or you could say, that means my family is here. Okay, of course, all this is in the description below. Familia yangu iko hapa. Or you could say, nilisafiri na familia yangu. Nilisafiri na familia yangu. That means I travel with my family. Okay, so they're here with me. Nilisafiri na familia yangu. So immediately somebody gets the impression that they're around you. Okay. If they want to know whether your family is here, they can ask you, familia yako iko hapa? Is your family here? Familia yako iko hapa? And then if you want to say, yes, my family is here, you could say, Ndio, familia yangu iko hapa. Familia yangu iko hapa. Okay. So here there's a slight variation between standard Swahili and the street Swahili, in that it doesn't change much in terms of this question. But there's a slight difference. For instance, the question "familia yako iko wapi" is a question asked in standard Swahili. Familia yako iko wapi? Okay. But a normal conversation in the streets, or you meet someone socially, and particularly in Nairobi, Mombasa, and the question they would ask you is that, ulikuja na familia? Okay. Ulikuja na familia, or umekuja na familia? Okay. Have you come with your family? Umekuja na familia. Have you come with your family? After they've met you and you, of course, introduced each other at a personal level. Umekuja na familia. Have you come with your family? Okay. Or they may ask, umesafiri na familia? Have you traveled with your family? Or have you traveled with your family? Okay. Umesafiri na familia? That becomes the question. Okay. As we use it normally here. And then if you have not traveled with your family and you want to respond in a standard manner, you could say, hapana, familia yangu iko nyumbani. Hapana, no. Hapana is the Swahili word for no. Hapana, no. Hapana, familia yangu iko nyumbani. That means, no, my family is at home. Okay. Referring to your native country. Or if you want to speak the street language, okay, you could say, hapana, familia yangu imebaki ngambo. That's how you put it. Familia yangu imebaki ngambo. That means my family has remained overseas. Okay. Okay. So I left my family behind. So they're back overseas. Okay. They remained overseas. Familia yangu imebaki ngambo. My family remained overseas. Okay. That's the language we use commonly. Urban, in Nairobi, Tanzania, Dar es Salaam, Zanzibar. Familia yangu imebaki ngambo. Ngambo simply means overseas. Ngambo, overseas. Imebaki ngambo, remained overseas. Okay, beautiful language. And then they may want to know how many children you have. And then the standard question could be, Unao watoto wangapi? Unao watoto wangapi? Okay, but on the streets we don't say unao. We just say una watoto wangapi. Okay, una. The standard version is unao watoto wangapi. But on the streets, we ask una, watoto wangapi, how many. So the letter O is omitted. Una watoto wangapi. Okay. How many children do you have? Una watoto wangapi. How many children do you have? And then if you have, let's say 2, you could say, Nina watoto wawili. That is the street smart response. Nina watoto wawili. I have 2 children. Wawili, 2. Okay, from the Swahili word mbili, meaning 2. So wawili in plural, 2. Okay, I have 2 children. Nina watoto wawili. But the standard response would be Ninao watoto wawili. Okay, but we don't speak that commonly around here. So because that's the textbook version. So we say Nina watoto wawili. Okay. Or if you don't have children, you could say Sina watoto. The word Sina in Swahili means I don't have. Lack. I don't have children. Okay. So Sina watoto. Okay. Either because you've not decided to have children, or for one reason or the other, you don't have children. You just say I don't have children, and the word is Sina watoto. Okay. And it ends there. And then the local person could tell you mimi naishi hapa, which means I live here. Okay. Mimi naishi hapa. Okay. As for me, I live here. Okay. Mimi, I, naishi hapa. Naishi, I live. Hapa, here. Mimi naishi hapa. I live here. In this town, in this city, in this country, I live here. Okay. And then perhaps the local may ask you, if you're a foreigner who has been around for a week or month or a year. So the local may ask you, umekaa Kenya muda gani? Or umekaa Tanzania muda gani? Or umekaa Zanzibar muda gani? And the question there is, for how long have you been in Kenya? Or for how long have you been in Tanzania? Or for how long have you been in Zanzibar? Okay. Umekaa. Okay. The standard question would be umeishi. But to ishi is to live. For how long have you lived here? So if you've been here for a week, you haven't lived here. Yeah. So the way we say it is to kaa. To kaa is to stay. Okay. For how long have you stayed here? I've stayed here a day. Okay. I've stayed here a week. I've stayed here a month. I've stayed here a year, or more than that. For how long have I? Okay. And then you could respond and say, if you've been here for a week, you can say nimekuwa hapa wiki moja. I've been here a week. Okay. Nimekuwa hapa wiki moja. I've been here a week. Or nimekuwa hapa wiki mbili. I've been here 2 weeks. Or nimekuwa hapa wiki tatu. I've been here 3 weeks. Or nimekuwa hapa wiki nne. I've been here 4 weeks. If it's a month, you could say nimekuwa hapa mwezi mmoja. Mwezi is a month. Mwezi moja. Moja is 1. Okay. But you see, there's mwezi moja and there's mwezi moja. Mwezi moja. M-O-J-A. Double M-O-J-A. Moja. Mwezi moja. Trying to emphasize 1. Okay. Of course, from the original word moja, which is M-O-J-A, meaning 1. But when you're in a manner of speech and you refer to something and you have to emphasize that it's only 1, you can say moja. But depending on the context, of course. Okay. And I hope to, over time, clarify some of these contexts so that in your use, okay, or in your application of the language, you are a bit conversant on when to apply it, when not apply it. But again, a lot of this is mastered as you speak, and as you make mistakes, and as you learn along the way, and as you get corrected. Okay. But then, even as you get corrected, please bear in mind that there's a difference between standard Swahili and street smart Swahili. Okay. So it's good to ask from time to time when you're corrected. Ask the person correcting you, is what you're telling me the standard Swahili or the urban Swahili spoken in the streets of Nairobi and Dar es Salaam, Mombasa, and Zanzibar? Okay, okay, okay. So, and perhaps you might turn to the person asking you questions, the local person, and ask them, okay, umeishi hapa muda gani? Okay, for how long have you lived in this country? And they can tell you, nimeishi hapa muda mrefu. I've lived here for a long time. Maybe because they were born here, or for one reason or the other, they've been in the town or the city for a very long time. So they can tell you, nimeishi hapa muda mrefu sana. For instance, I was born in Nairobi. I live in Nairobi. I was raised in another town called Nakuru, but pretty much lived a big chunk of my life in Nairobi. So I can say nimeishi Nairobi muda mrefu sana. Nimeishi Nairobi muda mrefu sana. I've lived in Nairobi for a very long time. Okay. The word sana is an emphasis we use in Swahili to say. I think the equivalent in English would be to say very much. Very much, sana, you know, to just emphasize, right? And then in coming to the end of